overcome fear and be fearless in this world. She begins by saying, "Be strong. Fear not." Fear is man's only adversary. You face defeat whenever you are fearful. Fear of lack, fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of personality, fear of criticism. Fear robs you of all power, for you have lost your contact with the universal powerhouse. Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Fear is inverted faith. It is faith turned upside down. When you are fearful, you begin to attract the thing you fear. You are magnetizing it. You are hypnotized by the race thought when you are afraid. Daniel was undisturbed because he knew his God was stronger than the lions. His God made the lions as harmless as kittens. So walk up to your lion as quickly as possible and see for yourself. Perhaps all your life, you've been running away from some particular lion. It has made your life miserable and your hair gray. A hairdresser once told me that she knew a woman whose gray hair returned to its natural color when she stopped worrying. A woman said to me during an interview, "I'm not a bit fearful, but I worry a lot." Fear and worry are twins and are the same thing. If you were fearless, your worry cells would be dried up. Why are ye worried, O ye of little faith? I think the most prevalent fear is the fear of loss. Perhaps you have everything that life can give, but in creeps the old lion of apprehension. You hear him growling. It's too good to be true. It can't last. If he gets your attention, you may well worry. Many people have lost what they prized most dearly in life. That is because, invariably, they fear loss. The only weapon you can use against your lions is your word. Your word is your wand, filled with magic and power. You wave your wand over your lion and transmute him into a kitten. But the lion will remain a lion unless you walk up to him. You may well ask, how do we walk up to lions? Moses said unto his people, "Fear ye not. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you this day. For the Egyptians, whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again, no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace." What a marvelous arrangement.
Good morning and welcome to the Awakening Podcast. I'm Collins and I'm joined today as usual with Jacqueline. And today we're going to be talking about fear and how to overcome it. Jacqueline, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning. It's just always such a pleasure. I love these respites from the busyness outside to come and visit you at the beach.
Yeah, I had a dream I was at the beach. I think it has something to do with this.
I think so. See there? Amazing when we pay attention, the synchronicities that we begin to experience. We'll think something and then the title of the movie is what I was just thinking about. Or I am reading something and I'm going, wait a minute, I was just talking about that this morning. Or you have a dream, and I dream profusely. So I'm always trying to analyze, where on earth did that come from? And then I've gotten really good. Once you start practicing analyzing your dreams, I can see, oh, that was when the witcher killed the beast, and I can see the beast in my dream. Or, oh, that was the and you can thread all of these, and they don't make any sense, because they're just, the pieces are just like a quilt. You're like, how did you go from here to there? But you begin to realize that all of these pieces have come from your own thinking, your own subconscious, and they're being re-expressed in the dream as a message back to you, to tell you, this is what's going on in your life. So yeah, I love our mornings. You
Yeah.
got
So,
you got your coffee. I have
oh, I
I
did.
have
Yeah.
mine.
By the way, we never told this story, but we did meet over coffee years ago.
Yes. I mean, yeah. Oh my heavens. You should tell that. We met in a Starbucks.
Right. Yeah. So nothing exotic here, guys. You can always meet interesting people. You just have to go up and make a conversation. That's how
And
it works.
yeah, and you did. I mean, I think you heard me in a really bizarre conversation, and you were like, okay, I gotta meet this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just that instant. You also, as you're awakening and mindful, you recognize that these, destiny links us to the people that we are to meet. And so it's like, you either have your karmic link, you have your soulmate, ties, you have your twin flames, you've got all these these meetings. And most of the people, well, and I won't say most, all of the people in our lives are connected to our energetic vibrational patterns. So if you've got, you know tremendous toxicity in your life, that is reflecting your own, you know
Date. Right.
right, your own past vibrational patterns. And then those reflections are given to us to overcome, to
Yeah.
transmute and create something different. So anyway.
Right. And that's just to say something more about that. It's like, if you really have an urge that there's something you need to do, or something you need to fix, or something you need to address, there, you gotta take it by the reins, because those little nudges and things are very important in life, and they'll grow stronger over time. So better address them now.
Well, and that kind of opens us up into, you know, the lions that we have in our lives, or the representing the fears. Oftentimes those nudges or those urges, if you're not, there's two sides of that. You've got the desire to the life that you wish to create, versus those nudgings that are there to help you process, cleanse, and heal those past programs, and how to move through those. Um, so let's go to the topic of fear, because fear inhibits or closes the door, completely closes the door, and keeps us from our blessings. And so let's start with fear, because all of life we keep talking about the Hermetic principle. Number one is that all is mind. So life is energy, and life begins in our minds first. And so the energy that we have in our mind, which is then unified with the feelings in our heart, represent what we will attract in our external world. And so if we're operating off the energy of fear, then we are living and attracting the external matrix reality, and we will never be co-creators. So I know we're not going to be able to see this, but this is it's called the Map of Consciousness. And it is by David Hawkins. He created this map that gave a vibrational fingerprint to our different, shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, courage, and then we go up into the enlightened vibrations of willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, and peace is what we're going to talk about today, the opposite of fear. So fear vibrates down here at right down here at 100. Well, that's a very, very low vibration. And so from here down, these are the vibrations or the energetic matrix, the simulation of our current global matrix. Anything from here below are vibrational realities, vibrational illusions, vibrational patterns that create the reality of the matrix of this world. So transcendence is through mastery, through taking control of your thoughts and your feelings, rising above the lower vibrational frequencies of fear to become a creator. And until you do this, you will never create.
Yeah, key. That's definitely key. We have to break through. There's a kind of a wall that I think a lot of people are fluctuating back and forth because it's easy to fall below that level just with a trigger event, right? Something triggers you and you kind of go backwards a little bit.
And those trigger events are the programs that we talk often about. Those are the out of control. Those are the victim mentality programs where you lose control of your heart and mind, and you become under the control of the matrix. So fear is one of the main vibrational powers of the lower kingdom matrix. And to conquer fear so that you can rise above this world, enter a new kingdom where lack, loss, pain, suffering, limitations, being a victim, not having control, all of these storylines that every single human being on this planet has, even the wealthy, because if we were to look behind the mask, the reality is very, very few people have found the path to happiness. So today, one of the main things that I hope we can get across is there is a path, there is a technique that the Bible gives us to conquer to conquer, to overcome
Mhm.
fear, to conquer, to overcome all of these lower
Vibration
these
state.
lower vibrational states are states of mind and heart that the victim operates within. And there's always the perpetrator of the program, which keeps the victim chained to dungeon walls, and or the cave of Plato, where all of the individuals believed that the shadows on the walls were reality. So they had no experience of true light. And that's, we even have false light on the planet. And
Mhm.
we talk about the other side of the dark coin being the light, being the
Right.
truth, but it's the same side of the same dark matrix. So you can be a truther and still operate in the lower matrix. Um, and so today, the overcoming of fear is very simple. And it's Exodus 14:14. It's one of the most powerful teachings. And if we can get it, I can't, and I'm speaking from experience. And I'm not speaking from a place, from an individual that has not had mountains to climb. Collins, you know the mountains that I've climbed, the mountains you've climbed, the mountains that every single human being climbs, the lions that we all face, the same lions that Daniel faced in the pit. We all face them. So, but the way to conquering is fear not. So that's a command. Like when
Mhm.
you have fear, that's the thing, that's the beast, that's the demon, that's the mountain, that's the lion that you are to overcome. Because that mountain, that lion, that demon, that beast is an illusion, it's a simulation, it is a lie. That's the lie that we're trying to cut the program cords and to rewrite the new programs of truth. That's the real truth. That's the transcendent truth. That's the truth that has vibrations in your heart that are backed up by the thoughts in your mind of happiness, joy, abundance. There's no scarcity, unlimited supply. So let's, and it says fear not. Well, how do we do that? First of all, we step back and we know that there's something. The Lord shall fight for you. In other words, it's not my fight. And what is my work? What is the conquering magic, the conquering power? Exodus 14:14. And I shall hold my peace. So it's my job, it's my work, it's my duty to awaken from the matrix,
Mhm.
come out of the illusion of lies, come out of the valley of the shadows of death. These are all shadows. We're all in the shadow land down here on earth.
Right.
And our job is to transmute the shadows, come out of the cave and step into the pure light, the real light, the absolute light that has absolute power. There is nothing that can diminish, annihilate, make less than true light. And so my job is to hold my peace. That's my feeling of peace. So it's real simple. What's going on in your heart? Are you feeling fear? Which is what the program, the matrix, wants you to feel. Because literally, and I know this is a difficult conversation and we don't get into these really, you know, what normal people might call weird conversations is, but I'm going to tell you, the Bible tells us that we do not battle against flesh and blood, but of principalities, of dark rulers of this world. I mean, and we all go to church and sit there and go, okay, that's real. But what does that look like in real time? That means that there are principalities, and they're dark. They're not here. They're not benevolent. They're not here for my good or your good. And they don't care about you. And I don't care how much they tell you that they do. And the programs that they want to put into place so that you can be protected and taken care of, because nobody can protect you. Nobody can take care of you, but the power that is within you. So the matrix of this world is fear-based. And the programs are conditioning your mind to accept fear and then look for the external savior to take you away from fear. But your salvation, that Lord that battles your fight for you, that vibration of power that moves mountains, that vibration that you wield inside your mind and your heart, where you can stand up right at a roaring lion. You can face a demon head on, look him in the eyes, and have confidence and assurance. And that's when you stand on the ground of peace.
Right. Oh, yeah. And again, I think that the thing that a lot of people would say, like you mentioned going to church, you mentioned people talking about principalities. Well, people walk out of church and they start going over, doing their same old thing, same old bad habits. But those principalities, they actually do work through the relationships, some of the negative relationships you have with other people. So that's, they might not be flesh and blood, but they work through flesh and blood.
Well, God works through my mind, my heart, my actions, my behaviors, through my hands and my feet, through my mouth, through my eyes. And so you are correct. The principalities, whether they be of the light, angels, are spirits. Dark rulers are spirits. So this is a spirit. There's a spiritual matrix that permeates our reality. And humans think that the reality is in physical things, in the vehicle of flesh. Mm-hmm. But as a flesh vehicle, you are either controlled by darkness, you are either controlled by the programs of darkness, or what is the title of our podcast? It's Awakening.
Right.
And that's our main focus is to cause an awakening. So in awakening, you control, and you allow the spirit of light, of love, of God, of abundance, of supply to flow through you using your mind. So you become the master, the gatekeeper of your mind, and you control your thinking. And in turn, that controls the feeling, the vibration in your heart. So my question is, how much do you fear? How much do you worry? How much anxiety do you have?
Right. And where is that coming from? Where are those triggers occurring? And I have to say this, because,
sorry, but we went over. We got to take a break.
We're right back to the Awakening Podcast. We're getting into some really interesting stuff. Can't wait to see you again. Goodbye.
All right. Sorry about that. I just went right through it.
Welcome to the Awakening Podcast. My name is Collins.
And my name is Jacqueline.
Great, welcome back. Oh my gosh, really interesting stuff. I had to jump in and kind of like have a, as far as we're talking about fear and where fear comes from, because I think that's what is the source of it and how does it jump in and be a saboteur in your life? Because I think it's always a saboteur. It's always as you're going toward a goal or as you're experiencing happiness or creativity, the fear jumps in and it makes you it forces you to step back into an old pattern. And I can say personally that some of those things you can address on your own, working through them. And sometimes it takes a long time to do that. And I would personally, if you can find a good match with a counselor or a coach or a friend or a mentor, that person can actually speed that process up through working with you. So they're not actually fixing anything, they're enabling you to fix yourself.
Well, and this is what this, podcast is all about, is providing the resources to provide the inspiration, to help us realize our potential, to awaken to our true nature. See, we actually believe that all of this lack and limitation and sickness and poverty and disease and we have to move like robots. We've bought into that system, and this is not new. I mean, when we left the garden, we lost the mentality of paradise, and we, in the year 2000. Actually, it started in the year of the convergence, 1987, which set us up towards the new millennium, which began in the year 2000. And we've crossed over. This is the beautiful message. This is the gospel that Jesus was bringing us. This was his preparing us. See, he didn't go to the cross because they put him on the cross. He went to the cross of his own volition. Now, we're not going to get into the blood and the topic of resurrection. The true resurrection was not about the resurrection of 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 rising into the light after you die. The true resurrection was the resurrection while living. We're to resurrect in
That's right.
this lifetime.
That's right.
So that we can, but to resurrect, you do need to kill off, annihilate. And I mean kill off, I mean murder. We're not here to, sorry about that word. That's probably not a politically acceptable word. But we're
It's
not
a
here.
forceful way of saying, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to cut that tie.
I'm cutting it.
That's what you're doing.
I'm cutting it. We're not making better the old man. No, we're killing the old man. We're letting go. We're cutting ties to the past.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we don't keep that old man over here like, hey, let's throw some drinks back and drift into the past. No, we have to get rid of that, cut that.
And that's the hardship, is because we think in that cutting that we're giving up our friends, our families, that feel good after we drink. But let me ask you, I don't know, I don't really drink, but about a week ago, I just had this demon say, oh my God, wouldn't it be great to have a drink? I'm not saying anything about, you want to have a glass of wine and sit back. If your body chemistry allows that and you actually do feel good with that. But I'm the kind of person, because of my past, that, sorry, the drugs that I've done and the carousing and the things that my past has there, I don't do well with drinking. So that's a choice that I don't drink. But I did last week, had one drink. And for a minute you feel good, but then, oh my God, I'm like, why on earth? So you cut those old programs, because what you gain, the value, the reward, the paradise, the garden, the pleasure, the real feelings of a real kind of pleasure. I mean, humans don't even know what real pleasure feels like. We have so associated pleasure with, lust, the orgasm of lust, the different sexual feats that we go through to capture our partner, the pleasure of kicking everybody down the mountain so that I can be the king of the mountain. We seek pleasure in ways that we don't even, very few of us have even experienced or even had glimpses of what that real feeling of pleasure is out of a space of peace.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we've been conditioned to be animalistic, dualistic. To our animal instincts are strong, and in some limited settings, I think they really help you understand who you are, because you're competing in a sense, shows you some of your strengths and your where you could, that you have power. I think it does demonstrate that, but I feel like you there's a certain point when that has to be transcended. So it's like you experience duality, you experience all these animal for lack of a better word, animal instincts, and like the drinking, like the sex, and then after a while you realize that while you're evolving and growing up, that's just part of the growing up process, right? It's like we experience that those things are available, but at certain points those will drain you of your energy, as will food, sex, orgasm, alcohol. All that stuff drains you, takes you to a lower vibration.
And again, it's all about vibration. It's all about vibration. There's a scripture that says, they don't come into the light because they love their low vibration. They're lovers of the dark. And you can get so immersed in the program, so low in the program of darkness, that you become you get into a feeding frenzy, and exactly. that's part of that dark system, that dark matrix. I gotta look at my timer.
Yeah, we're just gonna take a break in about a minute here, but okay. Just to wrap it up.
And real quick before we go, is the dark rulers do have a system where they siphon off that energy, and they feed off our dark energy, because they're not welcome in the kingdom of light. In order to live, in order to continue their immortal existence, they must continue creating the programs of fear, siphoning off that energy off of humans by possessing, oppressing, whatever that is. And we get sucked into that program, believing that that's a reality. And what we're here talking about is that is not a reality. There's another whole reality, another whole kingdom, and we can rise above, transcend this, and create a brand new existence, which is wonderful and beautiful. So did we take
awesome.
Up a minute there?
Yeah, I think we'll be right back for a final segment of the Awakening Podcast. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but my clock just I love the
Welcome to the Awakening Podcast. My name is Collins.
And my name is Jacqueline.
Welcome back for our final segment of the Awakening Podcast. We're talking about fear, and we're talking about the mechanics of fear and vibration and how to keep above that level of fear that we often find ourselves, even me, sinking below at times, due to things in the, things that are unresolved. So
it's a fallacy to think that in this plane, this first, second, third dimension of reality, dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3, which make up a whole harmonic universe. The next harmonic universe, which is harmonic universe 2, which is where we're rising to, is dimensions 4, 5, and 6. And so the vibrational spin of the matrix of reality here is very low. So it's a fallacy to say that we're not going to have lions and beasts and demons and mountains here. This world is that world. We're here to learn. This is a learning
place, right?
Right.
Right.
And we're here to learn how to transcend this jungle of beasts and to become creators. And so the contrast that you were talking about, learning and experiencing all these things are necessary for the development of awareness, because as a unique unit of consciousness, I am learning who I am. I'm learning what smells I like. I'm learning what textures I like. I'm learning what environments I like. Do I want to live at the beach, or do I want to live in the mountains? Do I like to wear velvet, or do I like leather? Do I like the smell of citrus, or do I like the smell of gardenias? These are all choices that we are given down here, because this is a world of adventure. It's not an ugly world. Look around, guys. So beautiful. Look at where you are there on the beach. The palm trees.
Yeah.
The clouds dancing through a blue sky. I mean, have you ever thought about what it took to create the vast expanse above us, the waves behind you that continually roll upon the shore, consistent and never the tidal lock, the mechanics that locks the moon into our orbit in a tidal lock that protects our tides from taking over the planet, that keeps them bound in a certain measurement. I mean, it is fantastic, this awesome creation that we were given. This world was created and given to us. That I don't know if you guys ever meditate on that, but that blows my mind. So to have gotten caught down here as a victim, to have been captured and enslaved in darkness, hung by chains in a dungeon where we cannot even look out and see the beauty, awesomeness of the world. That's appalling. And we're here to tell you that we don't have to stay here. We just don't. And that is a tactic. It's a technique. You got to wake up, guys. You got to wake up. And going past the year 2000, we're in an awakening cycle. It's called the stellar activation cycle. It's when the entire planetary solar system comes into a position in the universe where we are being bombarded with high volumes of photonic light particles that are beginning to engage our brain cell bodies and beginning to empower our energetic frequency patterns, quickening our experiences so that we can begin to experience what we're thinking and then seeing the result of that thought in an external event or an external synchronicity. And the awakening is the awakening into the realization, the awareness, the true awareness that I am a creator and that I have the power, and a power that is greater than any dark program, a power that can transcend the lower matrix of darkness. And I can rise above those low frequencies, take control of my mind, and hold my peace. Hold my peace. Exodus 14:14. My job is to clear all these negative programs. That's by watching the feelings that are coming through my heart, watching the programs in my mind that are coming. Just because I think doesn't mean those are my thoughts, because we live in a sea of thoughts, okay? And those thoughts have vibrations, and those vibrations attach when you give your consent to them. So we stop giving our consent, we take control, and I become the thinker, which in turn creates my reality. But that's got to be held in an ocean, in a sea, and in an environment, in a matrix, in a space around me of peace in my heart. So peace is where I hold my power.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, coming back to that place of peace, because that's a place of solitude and a place of kind of unlimited creative potential. And if you're just swimming in a sea of kind of thoughts and other people's impressions, or you're trying to mirror other people's behaviors or whatever it may be, right? You're
not even knowing that that's what you're doing, because you're
right?
unconscious.
Exactly. Then you're just gonna be stuck in a cycle, and we've all been there. But pulling back and finding your own peace and solitude is critical these days. So having, even if it's in a crowded house with a lot of noise and everything, like, they're realizing more and more, every year it gets more and more popular, is that period of meditation for yourself. And usually most people have to actually block out a period of time. You can't do a walking meditation your whole day. So, but learning that discipline of quieting your mind, listening to your breath, listening to your body, feeling where energy is blocked, is really key. I mean, if you take going to a yoga class, or working out at the gym, it's engaging the physicality with the mental to create the silence that's needed for you to speak back to yourself and tell you kind of where you need to be. And I think that's sometimes the missing connection with this awakening process. It's like, well, how do I start doing that? Well, that's the easy part, is you can take control of blocks of your life to do that. And it has amazing, I can speak from experience the last 10 years that I've kind of engaged that. Anything that I've really thought of, anything I've really, at a deep level wanted to experience, it's some way, not always the way that I thought it would happen in my life, but it came into my life. It presented itself. So it's a very powerful part of manifestation, is that quiet time with yourself.
And we can wake up now. I can wake up right now.
Yeah.
It's not this. I don't have to go to Tibet and sit for 6 weeks on a mat with my legs crossed in silence.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Well, we're going to on that note, we'll be right back to some closing thoughts. Thanks for joining us, Awakening Podcast.
I'm lost on that.
Welcome to the Awakening Podcast. My name is Collins.
And my name is Jacqueline. that kingdom within me, written upon my heart, and I know the truth, which is represented to me through a vibrational feeling in my heart, and I'm either feeling it or I'm not feeling it. And that is the way.
Beautifully said. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
I love you.
you too.
Okay.
And we will wrap this one. Thank you. Namaste. And thank you for joining us for the Awakening Podcast. As usual, this has been Jacqueline and Collins, and we will see you again next week for another exciting topic. Look forward to seeing you then. Welcome to the Awakening Podcast. My name is Collins.
And my name is Jacqueline.